All right, we're going to try to do chapter 10, 11, and 12, and that should wrap it up. Most of these are just definitions or things that you'll find in your reading, so they don't require much elaboration. So I just want to make sure you have the correct answers. So let's try to knock these three chapters out at one time here in preparation for your final. Question 1 in chapter 10. Which of the following statements about private prisons is true? And the correct statement is private contractors frequently can deliver correctional services more cost effectively than public employees can. So what they're saying is private contractors can do the job at a cheaper price than most public employees can. Question 2, why were early punishments often carried out in public? And that was to deter onlookers from crime. Question 3, protective custody involves segregating inmates for their own safety. Question 4, English philosopher Jeremy Bentham designed a panopticon prison. A panopticon prison. Jeremy Bentham. Question 5, federal prison camps are considered minimum security institutions. And when you read that question, the word camp should be important to you. So when you hear federal prison camp, it's going to be a minimum security prison. Chapter 11. Question 1 in Chapter 11. Under the First Step Act, the primary goal of federal prisons is to rehabilitate. Under the First Step Act, the primary goal of federal prisons is to rehabilitate. Question 2, the collection of values and norms that regulate how inmates interact is known as the Convict Code. Question 3, in which of the following cases did the U.S. Supreme Court hold that jailhouse lawyers must be permitted to assist other inmates in preparing cases unless the government provides a reasonable alternative? And that's Johnson v. Avery. Johnson versus Avery. Question 4, according to the Supreme Court, inmates have a right to adequate medical care under the 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. So the 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, they've interpreted to mean that inmates should get proper medical care. Question 5, the majority of killings within a prison involved inmates killing other inmates. So the majority of killings inside a prison are inmates killing inmates. Chapter 12, the last chapter. Question 1, which of the following is an aspect of the social worker role of community correctional program personnel? And the correct answer is providing direct services to offenders. Providing direct services to offenders. Question 2, in informal probation, the probationer is not directly supervised by a probation officer. So in informal probation, the probationer is not directly supervised by a probation officer. Question 3, the first state to pass a formal probation law was Massachusetts. Question 4, identify a true statement about community corrections. And the correct answer is traditionally community corrections emphasizes on rehabilitation. I think we talked about this in the last recording. Typically, I think the goal in a lot of these things are to rehabilitate. The last question. In most states, the final discharge from parole is granted by, there's going to be a parole board that grants the final discharge from parole. Okay, that's chapter 12. We'll start, I'll put together hopefully the final this week and give you a little bit of extra time to take it. And if I'll put an announcement on in your classroom too. If you want to stop by the campus, or even if you want to call while you're working on your final exam, you're welcome to work through it with me. We can work through it together. So that's not a problem at all. So you can call me, stop by the campus, message, or email anytime. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me in any way. Thanks. Good luck with everything.